Good afternoon. This is Theresa from Departures Travel in Sydney, BC. And I'm here this afternoon to talk about a very beautiful voyage taking place on the brand new Regent Seven Seas Splendor on the 7th of December 2021. So that's about 18 months out. And it is a 10-night voyage. And I'll talk a bit about the cruise line, but first I'll talk about COVID-19 and then about travel now. What does that really mean? Experiencing Regent, every luxury included, the itinerary, and a few sample excursions just to give a sense of what they do. A look at this beautiful ship, talk about who the typical Regent guest is, what their current promotion is, along with a fare comparison, and then I will end with a few contact coordinates for questions, as this is all new technology to me, and I haven't quite figured out how to get questions and respond to them online, so I do apologize for that. So with this, I am going to just jump right in. So the elephant in the room, of course, if you're talking travel, is COVID-19. When the pandemic hit, everything just came to an abrupt halt. And in order for people to travel, they're going to need to feel that they're being taken care of and that they're safe. So I will just talk about some of the things that cruise lines and are talking about and what they're working on implementing. And some of these would also translate to airlines, hotels, and other travel service you might encounter if you were to go on a cruise. And in terms of Regent, just to give a bit of background, Regent cruisers, they love cruising and they're not going to stop. There's a term being used in the cruise industry right now, which is lift and shift. And 45% of Regent cruisers did just that. And what that is they took their 2020 bookings and they have moved them into 2021 or early 2022 if the itineraries are out. And Regent was very accommodating to the clients, their guests, and the guests were happy to do it. Also, in terms of as the pandemic was emerging, there were no outbreaks on any of the Regent vessels because of their existing hygiene and sanitation practices. And then in terms of the bigger picture, Regent is part of the Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, and they are in a positive position right now to operate without any sailings for the next 18 months. So the idea is that cruising will start up prior to then, even if in a different way. And just a few of the things that are anticipated going forward in the new world that we are all going to have to navigate is to get on a cruise ship anywhere, any size. There will be temperature checks and enhanced screening. So it's no more just quickly signing off on the medical questionnaire. It will be elaborated on. Lower occupancy, regardless of the size of the ship, the cruise lines will not be filling their ships. And in the case of the Regent Seven Seas Splendor, it is a small ship. So even if it were sold out, there would be about 700 people and they will not be selling it out. CDC protocols are in place and these are evolving, and that's why the cruise lines, airlines, all of them, they're having a hard time sharing all the information because it's such a fluid and evolving situation. They are doing what they can now based on what is known scientifically. As an example, Regent is in the process of upgrading their air ventilation systems throughout the ship, so staterooms, all public areas, crew areas, and they will be hospital grade, which is HEPA 13 standard filtration. And then off the ship, they're reducing the size of their excursions. So that will be the norm going forward until COVID-19 is no longer a threat. So now, what about travel now? The whole idea, it's about dreaming now, planning now, but traveling later. As a travel specialist, I know that I can't in good conscience suggest to a client that they can go on a cruise in August. It's just not going to happen. Cruise lines are shut down most or suspended until now into October. So it's about building the excitement and creating anticipation and starting the conversation now for later. There are studies that have been done that show the big part of the joy and happiness that is evoked for people is during the planning phase of travel, the anticipation and what should we do, how should we do it. So I'm hoping to generate a bit of excitement or anticipation around the possibility of sailing on this stunning, and I do truly mean that, Regent Seven Seas Splendor. Regent Seven Seas experience is unrivaled, and both off and on the ship, they pride themselves in attending to every detail and anticipating the needs of their guests, not reacting, but anticipating to those needs. So when you board, it will be very beautiful. You'll be handed a glass of champagne or orange juice, whatever you would enjoy. And you will eventually make your way to a beautiful suite. How does Regent stand apart in the luxury vacation market? And how do they deliver that unrivaled experience? Well, I have had the luck and opportunity to cruise on a number of luxury cruise lines, and as much as I love the other ones, I do tend to fall back to Regent. Immersive exploration is just the standard for their excursions. Impeccable service. The staff are so professional and so well trained, and they really go out of their way to make sure your experience is wonderful. Intimate and spacious ships. Regent is one of the cruise lines that has the highest ratio of public guest to public space. So the largest public areas, you don't wait in line for anything. It's just a really pleasant way to be on holidays, especially if you're someone who's rushed in a very high pressure job or high stress job. Food is fantastic. They say exquisite cuisine, and they touch on so many different types of cuisine. It's also a very international cuisine, which is really a nice touch. And as their motto goes, every luxury included. And when they say every luxury included, they do mean it. When you book a Regent cruise, you don't have to take airfare, but it is included in the price. You could take an air credit if you so choose. And when it's economy out of Canada, Toronto, Montreal, or Vancouver, and business air is included where there are over ocean flights. So that is a really nice touch to start a holiday off if you do fly a great distance. And depending on the category of stateroom, concierge or higher, you get a free cruise one-night hotel package, which is a nice way. You arrive the day before, you have a nice dinner, casual evening, and a casual trip to the ship. All suite accommodations with butlers in penthouse or higher. So they have butlers in some categories if that's a service you would be interested in. All beverages are included, whether it's water, coffee, tea, juices, milkshakes, fine wines, premium spirit, premium beer. There's just no fuss. All bars and lounges are open, and your mini bar in your suite will be replenished daily. Gourmet dining, you never pay for dining on the ship. It's open to anyone. You just book in for the specialty restaurants, and it's open dining everywhere else. You have 24-hour in-suite dining, which is a real nice touch if you're tired, you've had a long day out, some great excursion. Nice way you can have dinner out on your balcony. Free unlimited Wi-Fi for everyone. That's just that's a necessity nowadays for people keeping in touch. It's just part of our world now. And then all gratuities are paid, as well as taxes, port fees, the like. And then what really stands out for Regent compared to the other cruise lines. They include their shore excursions. They are the standard shore excursions. They have some other exclusive ones that have a supplement, and I'll give a couple examples of those as we go ahead here. So on this particular sailing, it includes 49 free shore excursions, and then there are others that you would pay a supplement for. So an extensive number of excursions for the ports on this particular itinerary, and they value up to about 200 US per person is the norm. And if you take an excursion in the morning and the ship will be there till the evening, you can take a second one. It really just, it's all about what you would like to do. And this really is a small sampling. For example, in St. Kitts, they have an island railway tour, and what's really nice about this is it takes you around the island, about 48 kilometers, and Regent guests get priority access and seating. And, this one's wheelchair accessible. A lot of people find that sometimes when they get to a particular port, they can't get any excursions that are accessible. And Regent tends to have at least one or two in each port. And then in Rosso Dominica, Wascutlet Estate, it is really an enrichment-focused tour with a local anthropologist. And it is the oldest surviving estate and best preserved. So they're very proud of it. And that, again, it's included. And for more in-depth, maybe a bit more upscale for some tend to be culturally focused, but they limit the number and capacity of the size of groups. So in Antigua, for example, there's Nicole's Table. You go in and it's an Antiguan chef, Nicole Arthurton Dennis, and she takes us through a cooking class, and you eat and enjoy the fruit of the labor of this cooking class. And it was a group size of 14. Now that might go down because of COVID, but again, the cruise is out to 18 months or so. So that may still be the same. And it's all based on the progression of our travel environment or landscape. And then in San Juan, a natural for physical distancing is to hit the golf course, and the Palmas del Mar golf course. And I tried to do a check, and I couldn't. It's very hard to find access to this golf course just through a regular tour operator. So this one would be very nice for golfers. And now the ship. When you board the ship, you will enter the atrium, and it is just a breathtaking space on the ship, beautifully appointed. It's absolute impeccable finishing, beautiful design. Observation lounge. This is a spot you'd just go, maybe have a glass of wine, or just watch the day go by outside the window. Splendor lounge. This would be, pre-dinner cocktails, maybe a nightcap, maybe sit around, plan your day, the next day with some friends or some new friends. The coffee connection. This space on the ship I really love. You go, you can grab, it opens early in the morning. You can get your latte or even just a regular coffee, some tea. They always have a bit of food for light eaters. You can have a little snack. And again, this is a really popular place just to sort of, maybe come in after a excursion. It's warm out. You can get a nice coffee or something. So really nice spot. And then on the Splendor, they have this incredible culinary arts kitchen. There is a small supplement for this. The logistics and cost to operate it are quite high, and they will be for now until further notice. When they do start sailing, it will only run at half capacity. But this is for hands-on cooking classes with beautifully trained chef. It is very, very popular on the Regent ships that have the culinary arts kitchen. And so the Constellation Theater, all the ships, of course, have them. And this typically Regent does offer an enrichment speaker. So you might get someone maybe on a Caribbean cruise, you might get someone, a biologist or a marine biologist, who will give lectures about the area. It really depends. Really a wide array. And then this is where the evening entertainment is, of course. And so really great spot to spend your evening. And one of my favorite things on a ship is a beautifully curated library. And Regent is just has a fantastic library. If for some reason you forgot all your books, you would be satisfied with the incredible selection, and it's comfortable, everyone welcome, just a nice quiet spot to hang out on the ship if you're just feeling like you'd like a bit of quiet time but don't want to stay in your suite. And then this is the entry level suite. And I say suite, the smallest accommodation on the ship is 300 square feet and plus a balcony. They range in size. And you have a full four-piece marble bath. The curtain in between the sitting area and the bedroom, it has blackout fabric. So, if someone's an early to bed or early riser, they can pull that curtain shut and not disturb the other person. So really, and beautiful bedding, beautiful mattresses, really a great luxurious suite. And so on to dining, which they're well known for. This is the main dining room. It's Compass Rose. And this is where you go in the evening. It's open dining, and they, have a wide selection. There's always something vegetarian, and you can really ask for what you want and have it prepared how you want. It helps to meet with the maitre d' or the restaurant manager beforehand, but because of the kitchen capability, you can really, if you're vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, they're able to satisfy and meet the needs of all types of diners. Now, the Prime Seven Steak and Seafood House, this is where you go if you'd like a nice, juicy steak or maybe some ribs. This is, again, a very, classic steakhouse type, but upscale. So that's one option. Again, on a premium cruise line, you would pay extra for this. And this is part of what Regent offers. Chartreuse is their French restaurant, sort of classic French. It's very, very popular. And again, sort of white linen service all the time. You do need reservations for this as well as Prime, and that can be done even before you leave home, as the reservations do open up in advance of the sale date. And on the Splendor, they have one of their new restaurants, Pacific Rim, and it's sort of a modern take on sort of Pacific Asian. It's I haven't personally eaten at it. I've heard people talk about it, and they've said it's just wonderful. So I would definitely be making a reservation for this restaurant when I have the opportunity to sail on the Splendor. And now La Veranda, this is casual dining by day, so it's open breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it shows a buffet in the picture, but the reality of it is this is going to be a no-touch buffet going forward, which is the direction all cruise ships will go, regardless whether they're luxury, premium, contemporary. And so open seating, you're in a rush to get out to for an excursion, so you may not go to the Compass Rose dining room for breakfast because it will take longer. And but this is what you can expect, and it's very elegant, the food, like there's no compromising quality between the dining room and the buffet. And then at night, what I just love about Regent is they convert the space into an Italian restaurant in the evenings called Sette Marie. It's open seating, and it is really super. the dish at the bottom, it's like a bouillabaisse, but it isn't. It's not French, but it is just fantastic. I've enjoyed that one a number of times, and the all the creamy and hors d'oeuvres are really nice. You have a great selection of things, whether you're, vegetarian. There's stuff for every palate, which is really nice. And again, it's really busy around 7, but after that or earlier, you can tend to be able to get a seat, and you have the option of sitting outside, which is really a nice way to have a meal, especially in the Caribbean. So in the evenings, they do have a number of choices. They have a casino if that's what you enjoy. They have different music, and sometimes there's themes like Latin, Beatles, Elvis, always a piano bar. And then they do Broadway and Cirque style shows, variety shows. They may have karaoke, depending on the length of cruise. There might be crew talent shows. And then again, all the bars and public lounges are open till into the evening. So there's a little bit for everyone. And the shows are great. And of course, during the day at sea, you would have enrichment lectures, which are usually quite interesting. So who sails Regent? Very curious travelers, regardless of the age. These are people who really want to see the world around them. And they appreciate people who are like-minded, and they have a lot to talk about. And of course, on the ship, it's the fine wines, superb dining, and it's really high quality travel. It's very service oriented, but you don't have the crowds of the larger ships. I mean, not to besmirch them, but when you have well under 1,000 people on a ship, they are able to provide very attentive service. And Regent is about quality, not quantity, and value, not price. And I'm going to move on to a slide after this one to show you a comparison. And now, average age is 55 plus, but you do see families, multi-generational families on sailing. And most people that are sailing Regent have cruised before. They've started and sort of transition from the premium cruise lines into the luxury cruise lines, and they often find themselves on Regent. Only 35% are retired, so it's not all very old people. It's a nice cross section of people who have worked, for a number of years, have a bit of money to invest in their travel and themselves, and most of all, they are immersive explorers. And one really nice thing is no elegant casual, no formals on this sailing. On some of the very much longer cruises, they may throw in a formal, but there are no need to pack evening gowns, suits, tuxedos. It's just not what the Regent Cruiser is interested in. Like definitely have a collared shirt for men and a pair of slacks to go into one of the specialty restaurants, but certainly do not feel you need to have a tie in your suitcase. It's just not required unless that's what you would like to do. People are welcome to dress formally if they so choose. Now, right now, the current offer with Regent, it's actually quite attractive. There's 50% reduced deposit, which really leaves money in your pocket for until final payment, which is a great place to have that money sitting. And they have right now the Regent Reassurance Program allows after final payment, when all the pay or cancellation fees have sort of come and gone, and the cruise is at 100% cancellation fee, that drops off and the Regent Reassurance Program kicks in. And what that does is it allows the traveler or the guest to cancel 15 days or prior to the sail date. And receive 100% future cruise credit. So there's no refund, but your investment is protected. And that's really important right now because Regent understands people are concerned about, well, what will happen with my money? What if the cruise is canceled? That your money will be protected as long as you're okay with doing a 100% future cruise credit. If you decide to cancel 15 days or more out from the travel date. And right now until July 31st, Regent is offering $1,000 US shipboard credit for the suite. That is because Regent is sort of every luxury included. That is a really nice amount of money to do some of those sort of exclusive or executive excursions, or if you so choose, spend a bit of time in the spa, which is always nice. And then when I saw this sailing, I actually found it for a client who was trying to like lift and shift their booking. And I saw it and the price was just so great. I did an open group on that. And what that is I just secured some anticipatory or speculative space on the ship. And the office, Departures Travel, any of the consultants are able to sell into the group. You do not need to know who's in the group. You don't have to spend any time with them. But what that did was the group amenity added another 400 US shipboard credit for the suite. And then we're part of the Ensemble Travel Group Consortium, and they have a 200 US shipboard credit for the suite on that same sailing. So in total, booking into this group during the promotion period gets $1,600 US shipboard credit, plus that Regent Reassurance Program, allowing that cancellation. If you get cold feet, it's really cancel for any reason. It doesn't have to be COVID related. Maybe something unexpected came up, or you just are feeling a bit anxious about traveling and you think it's not going to work for you on the 7th of December, 2021. So lowering the onboard expenses. I think if any of us have traveled on a premium cruise line, we go on and we think, oh, that was so great. I got on the ship where it's, we both got on the ship. It was, $6,000. And then the bills start adding up as we book excursions, as we book time in the specialty restaurants, and all the other things that are for fee on the premium cruise line. So I did a comparison because I really felt this particular sailing is incredible value. So I found a premium cruise line that's doing the identical itinerary in early December. And I just did a quick comparison. So on the Splendor, the guest capacity is 750, and that will be reduced because they won't sell it out. And the premium cruise line has 2,918. Again, they won't sell that out. And we look at the suite size, it's almost 100 square feet larger, the suite you would get on the Splendor. The lead-in cruise fare is $6,299 on Regent. And on the premium cruise line, this is per person, it's $5,279. Well, at a glance, and this is where a lot of consumers sort of say, well, that, the premium cruise line, of course, but then you add the airfare, you add the shore excursions, a bit of specialty dining, your ground transfers, and then the taxes and fees. And you're literally hundreds of dollars more per person on the premium cruise line. And you're not going to get the attentive service. You won't have as many amenities on the ship, but it really, if you're going because you really like to travel, you like good service, and you would appreciate a 350 square foot suite, really the choice sort of falls to me. It's almost, it seems a bit self-explanatory that Regent would be a great choice. So, and that's where they talk about the value versus price, and really understanding what you're going to pay for. and this sailing is just particularly well priced. So, as the business development manager for Regent always tells us, the bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten, as she always quotes Mr. Benjamin Franklin at the end. So what I'm going to do now is, at the top of the presentation, I mentioned I have not quite figured out the technology to be able to answer questions and receive questions online. I'm going to put up a screen with information of how to get through to me, but also if you are working with Departures Travel consultant at the Oak Bay or Sydney office, I would ask you to please contact them directly. They are aware of the group, they're able to book into it. And if for any reason you've forgotten their name, you can please reach out to me and I will make sure you get connected to the appropriate person. And I will leave you now with this screen. And I thank everyone for your time. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me talk. Thank you.